Morning, everybody. What's up, Midwest Cannabis? Speaking of cannabis, I almost felt like it was time for this cannabis stocks to go. Man, give everybody a minute. GM. Appreciate you guys. I love the intro, man. Absolutely. As everybody comes in, you know what? I'm gonna have to move the studio or the whatever you call this pretty soon, like in the next maybe month or so. So I need ideas for the background back here. So you guys let me know. What should I make the new background? Oh, good morning. Good morning from the West Coast. Yeah, it's 10:30 West Coast time. We have by the way, I have this like what is it? Like AstroTurf, like fake grass. They were thinking maybe we could put that up there. I don't know. It's gonna be wild. But if you guys have ideas, shoot them in the chat and we'll play with them. Might have some changes up and down. So crazy morning. I mean, we're going to take a look here. If you guys have tickers that you want to look at also, go ahead and drop them in the chat. We will go through a bunch. It's a little bit of a funky morning. I'll give you that. We're kind of in a very choppy place. So I'm not in a rush, quite frankly, to make a whole lot of trades anyways. Last week we closed basically at new all-time highs again. Look at this, Jacob. Good evening from Germany. Holy camole. Gotta love that European time zones, man. Always throws me off. I got a friend, Ava, who's in, she's European. We're a couple. But yeah, you guys are grabbing dinner when we're grabbing breakfast. It's wild. May in the house. Beautiful. We will take a look at IWM. Absolutely. But yeah, I think let's go ahead and get to it here. Let's do this. So tomorrow is the first day of October, which if you don't know, if you haven't heard this term Uptober, it's actually a thing. So it's a funky time of year for the market. The market's going to get very, very trappy. Choppy, I feel like isn't even the right word. Trappy sounds a little bit better because things will start to look like they're going up or they're going down. They're breaking ranges. Frankie's in the house. And we end up breaking range pretty much on both sides. But at the end of the month, I mean, that's really the time to be heavy long. So is it time to get long right now? We'll see. Maybe we get a little bit of a pullback. Possible. You know what? This week we will go over Coinbase as a trade for sure. And I want to spend a little bit of time on crypto. And if you guys don't know, I'm OG crypto, like old school crypto. But I think we are at a major inflection point on the crypto ecosystem. So we absolutely want to take a look at that. Jacob, long China, yeah, I'm going to have to give it to you probably. So I will say if you're confused about China, or if you're, someone like me who is like, I'm perpetually short China most of the time. What I will say is Chinese equities absolutely do not trade on capitalist fundamentals. Doesn't happen. So if you're looking at Chinese stocks like, oh, these are undervalued, this, that, or the other, look, that doesn't matter. It never really has. Undervalued, overvalued. The bear case for Chinese equities is essentially like, oh, they're communists and they're, you can't grow over a certain size. And I think that's true. But what I will say is that the Chinese markets absolutely trade on the government kind of stance. So, well, if they're going to give back to the people and they're literally saying buy stocks, you probably could buy stocks. There's one caveat to this right now in the China trade is that nothing really, let me take this down for a minute. Nothing really fundamental has changed at a policy level. So what they've done is they've essentially loosened a lot of restrictions. They've loosened lending requirements. And they've more or less said, here's a bunch of stimulus in one form or another. But it didn't change anything from a core fundamental perspective at the policy level yet. So the question is whether or not they can actually do that. And the difference between that and what we have right now is that, well, this could be a 2-month kind of pump, and then it gets faded away one more time, just like normal. And that's very possible. You know, if they do change policy at like a core level, then, well, it's probably going to stick around. For now, I would say comfortably that the bottom is in for the year, for sure. And maybe even for next year, we'll see. But here's the thing, communist country, whatever, if they decide that this is the way that they want to increase stimulus into their economy, then, hey, this is how they decide to do it. And so they might continue to do it. So, FXI, a lot of Chinese equities, the truth is that they're like coiled springs, no question. Even still at this level, would I chase it? It's a hard one to chase for sure. We can take a look. And if you have any specific ones, I feel like we should take a look at some specific Chinese tickers. If you don't know, there's like a yin and a yang. You are at the 200-week simple moving average at the FXI, which is kind of rough. So this is a huge pop to a very difficult level. Here's my China chart. What's up, Em? Huge push to a very difficult level. This is large cap ETF index. I mean, this is it. This is the pivot. So can China get over this critical level right here, right now? Or does it fade out once again? I think that's the real question. And, it's going to come down to two things. Probably there's either more stimulus or there's like a core policy change, in which case, yeah, the dips probably look to get bought. And this is just the ETF itself of the large caps, somewhere in this range right here. I mean, that would be a couple weeks out, to be fair, though. Yeah, big move today. But it looks like it's getting well, it's not carrying through. So we may just break through and just continue to boom all the way through. I know a lot of people looking at BABA. It's all the same, right? So BABA, again, at a critical level, critical juncture. Big bounce. Does it have more gas in the tank? I think that's the question. So this is where, BABA changes. Let's call it quote unquote character forever. If you've been long China for a long time, congrats, man. Congrats. I couldn't have held that long for sure. But this is where you are. So can you pull back? Possibly. And fill this gap. And then if things like this end up holding like this, that's good. Or if you just break through, and this is like this week, that would be holy moly, crazy times. So critical levels across the board. I didn't even know BABA yet. And they're about to close the market for a week. Is that true? Possibly. Am I worried about ports being closed? Yeah, we'll take a look at that. Dude, yeah, he said that last week. He's like, buy everything. I saw that clip. I'm like, whoa, this guy is bullish. Very, very bullish for sure. So anyways, let's take a look at the rest. So last week, a couple of things. So new home sales came in the week before. We were coming in really hot, 10.3% up on the month. Sorry. This month we came in just slightly negative 4.7 from here. But that's actually a little bit better than expectations. M says China closed. I forgot, what's this holiday called? What is this called? Is that just their New Year's? National celebrations. I don't think it's New Year's. But China does close for like a couple, I think it's more than a couple weeks just for New Year's. It gets crazy. The big number last week is weird, right? So consumer confidence was way down. So it came in prior 105.6, estimates at 103.8. I think this was Tuesday, and we came in really low. I think it was like one of the lowest drops in the last few years on consumer confidence. And that's really due to labor and things like that. Oh, 75th anniversary of what? I don't know. Yeah, New Year's is February. Cool. Good call. 75th anniversary of the People's Republic of China. Okay, so that's like our 4th of July, like U.S. Independence Day, I guess. There you go. GDP came in actually right in line. So estimates at 3%. We actually landed exactly at 3%. That's the final GDP growth rate for the quarter. We did get PCE. That's the Fed's favorite kind of metric to watch. So estimates at 0.2. This is personal consumption expenditures. So what we're actually spending, which, coming down at 0.1, it's not a huge thing. But what I will say is it's, if PCE were to go up, then there would be a bigger concern about another surge of inflation. But the Fed has said pretty much explicitly, hey, look, we're not actually concerned about that. So hopefully they're right. Personal income, personal spending. So personal income came in at slightly higher, 0.2% against a consensus of 0.4. Really not that much. So wages are not increasing. I think this is like the labor concerns, stuff like that. And personal spending went up just a little bit. So weird. So income went down, spending went up. It wasn't a huge amount, but it's something to watch, right? These two things for sure. Sorry. And then the port strike. So what are you guys thinking about the port strike? I know Holly was in here on our server and I forgot what she was looking at. I think this is more like supply chain stuff. It's a possible strike, but I don't know. I don't know that I want to trade around it, quite frankly. It may provide a little bit of a pullback near term, possibly, or potentially a stall. I think, with strikes in general, for me, it's most of the time it's like, hey, look, a strike is pretty much a temporary condition. So long term, it's likely a buy, but how long can it keep things kind of, yes. So I think it's like, what specific supply chain will it disrupt? I'm not sure. If somebody knew like exactly, look at this. Vlad says short Walmart. That's M's favorite ticker. Too funny. Yeah. So it sucks because 12 midnight tonight might be no meeting planned. What's Frankie talking about? I'm not sure. Coming into November, we hit the holiday season, and that's usually like heavy for retail, things like that. We'll see how it affects things like a Target. I think maybe Vlad was talking about, hey, look, short Walmart from a supply chain perspective. That's possible. So consumer goods, it sucks because the consumer is looking strong. They're spending more, and we're coming into the holiday season. Does that put a little bit of a cap on the consumer trade? I think we'll see, right? And plus Costco. Yeah, I believe it. Yeah. Okay. So UPS and FedEx. Well, Frankie, I already went long UPS, but I'm trimming now. She did say, the CEO of UPS, I think they had an investor meeting about 6 months ago. If you guys don't remember that, and I forgot her name. Holy crap. But she said that it was a fourth quarter kind of revival that she's expecting. The strike is 12 p.m. tonight. Ooh. No meeting to hold planned. Well, there they go. and then Emp with the Walmart is greater than Costco. I don't know. We'll take a look at Costco. Actually, Costco is kind of interesting. Every time it reports, it sells off. This time, I think they were running hot at like a 50 PE or something wild. But it usually gets bought up. I have not. Carol Tomei. There you go. Thank you. I have not seen the Costco chart lately. I saw it and it wasn't really rebounding yet, but that is one where it typically makes a little base. You guys, I almost if it wasn't for the strike, and maybe even still with the strike, I almost I was thinking about going long Lulu. And I swore I would never go long Lulu Lemon. But I'm not gonna lie. Let's take a look. There you go, Austin. Costco's greater than Walmart. Let's take a look. I think Lulu deserves a look here. I know it's up a bit off the highs, but near term or medium term, you can look at it and be like, you know what, this thing might have a shot at a pretty solid bounce. Other notable news, I guess mortgage rates plunge, fuels a surge in refinancing. So this is still like your upstart Affirm SoFi. I actually really like SoFi setting up here. We'll take a look at the chart. I think that's going to be an interesting. Vlad goes, no, Lulu. So we need to look at Lulu. We need to look at Ruru Ramon. I'm just gonna say it. So, and then in other news, oil, right? So Saudi Arabia dropping the oil price target in preparations for an increased production. So, if you were wondering why crude had been kind of basing on 65, it got pretty bouncy, but I don't know what the target is. I actually think that's usually this stuff comes out and then the market actually prices it in right away, which I think it has. And so if crude sticks around the $65 area, quite frankly, I think that's fine. We were looking in the server just the other day, hit at like Exxon, Oxy, things like that. And honestly, they look like at the surface, they look like a short. I will give them that. But then when you drilled in, it was really interesting. When you drilled in, it was like, oh, these actually might be exactly where you want to get long. And it didn't give me the right setup that I was looking for. I was hoping that we would get like a little liquidity grab early and then rip, but they just went. And we'll take a look at them today for sure. But that's mostly what I have. If you guys have anything else, to be on Lulu 311, dude, that's exactly where I was looking. But it's setting up right now. I don't think it's ready, but I think it's setting up. So for the week, so we do have a Powell speech. I think it's hitting right about now. I think it was 10. Yeah, I think it's hitting now. I don't really know. Yeah, Powell in 5 minutes. There you go. So Powell in 5 minutes, we can take a look at what's going on there. I'm not sure what he's talking about. So I actually got pulled away most of the morning, so I wasn't in front of the computer. We do have ISM manufacturing and then JOLTS tomorrow. And then this week, of course, is the first week of October. So every first Friday of the month, you get non-farm payrolls. That comes in hot and heavy on Friday. So if you're not familiar with how that works, we can trade around it. We actually have a script that's coming out with Lux Algo that you guys would be able to actually pick up a non-farm payroll indicator. It's pretty cool, actually. And it's going to look, they're just creating a creator page, but it's going to look like this, where you'll have like customizable zones, things like that. And I think that's coming out like, they want like $12 a month, something like that, but we'll see. And then, so ADP is going to be the precursor to NFP. And then ISM services. So this is going to be market moving. I didn't make it yellow, but it absolutely will be market moving. ADP has specifically been a little bit more. I do want to watch the markets here as Powell comes up. ADP has been a little bit more accurate, and I think the markets come around to that idea. ISM services, we are services-driven economy, so this does matter. And then finally, Friday, non-farm payroll. So honestly, this kind of sets up for a bit of a chop, like fundamentally speaking. There's not a lot of major data. Friday obviously could move the market significantly, but whether or not that Friday move holds, that's what we're going to know. And so in terms of Uptober as a whole, it's not this week that we'll know definitively. It's actually how the market trends next week. And if we're up green on the week next week, then I think it's all good for the Uptober setup. But if we're red next week, that might be okay. We're gonna have to wait a little bit. So we'll take a look at that. And I think I mentioned I do want to look at crypto too. So there's a couple important things happening over there in terms of earnings. So we don't have a whole lot. I think we get Nike this week. So if you're long Nike, I think you can stay long Nike. I would not close any Nike positions for sure, at least personally. You know, it's had a little bit of a bounce. I'm gonna pull up the chart here too. It's had a little bit of bounce, but 93s. Let's see, are we holding 88? So pull back here. You're filling a gap. Actually, this might be a spot to get long. Nike. Very possible. Looks like we just had that little bull flag on the daily that did break out, but also looking like we might be retesting it. So we had this kind of setup here, broke out, retest. This is, we'll see if this pushes. The earnings are setting up on tomorrow. So interesting. I don't think this goes anywhere. I should probably just chill right there and then see what happens tomorrow. This could be a push to like 95s plus, depending. There's a new CEO, but there hasn't really been enough time to change a whole lot. So I'll give it that. It may kind of sit around here, but we ideally after earnings like to see it holding over like 85, 83s, stuff like that. All right. Did Powell start yet? I don't see anything moving. Not likely. All right. So other than that, in terms of like overall earnings, hey, look, this quarter's been pretty good. It's been decent. 24 beats, 5 misses. That's Dow, Boeing, Intel, Chevron, and then someone else. I don't have it here, but so yeah. Tuesday, tomorrow after the close. Today we got Carnival. That actually was an interesting one. It was pushing pretty high in the pre, and then I think it pulled. Yeah, it gave a lot. It gave all of it back. Holy moly. We can put that on watch. Give that a little while. 1 minute. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's pre-written. So like M called this out last week on the Powell speech. The pre-written ones, usually not that big of a deal, but if he has questions and things like that, that can move a market. Anything else? Not really anything next week or this week. So, I mean, Nike, really, that's it. CCL's done. Mostly flat. Well, down a little bit, but honestly, just back to where we were 3 sessions ago on Carnival. Is Powell going? Anything happen here? I'm looking. It's a little bouncy. Purple tie. You guys are watching this. I know, like, if I try to play this, for some reason, I don't have, the sound isn't really set well. There was, used to be able to have, like, where's the Fed right away? Anyways, I don't have it. It's all good. Oh, there it is. You got a little pop. Oh, Powell's not like, what did he say? What? What did he say? Honestly, this is a very indecisive candle. I would not trade around that. You get things like this where it's like a big pop and then a bit of a drop. Give this a minute to digest and then see where the market goes. So I would let this play out. Let's get this done before he finishes, and then we'll have a trend. Oh, look, I went right into it. All right, we could take M's comment down. So anyways, this is the tarot reading for the week. We actually got it. I was concerned we might not get it. So the theme card is the moon. Then we have the 10 of, this looks like wands, Wheel of Fortune day, What he said was hello. I love it. Holy moly. Wheel of Fortune Day for sure. But yeah, look, I don't have I want to have the charts up here too. So let me pull this up because we're probably going to start moving here pretty soon. Sorry about that, guys. Wheel of Fortune Day is actually a big day. That could be pretty bullish. I think it usually is. So maybe let this do its thing for a little bit. The Hermit, slow chop, likely to the upside. Emperor, and then Justice. So let's see what the actual reading says. So theme card is the moon. We don't have a ton of data on this card, but the data we do have is positive. Interesting. Both as a theme card and as a daily card, this means that if we're lucky, prices will continue to moon. Oh, wow. All right. So Miss Cleo's coming in hot. She's thinking that prices will continue to moon. We do have a ton of major arcana appearing in this. I was not expecting that. I have not read any of this. Appearing in the series again. So I guess worry about a repeat of last week. That would infer buying pressure with lots of chop. Yes. Yeah, we know Powell speaking. I'm letting it go, right? Let that kind of digest. The Powell speech is very choppy price action, trappy price action. Or we have a new moon appearing on Wednesday, so this card is likely to bring a change in energy to coincide with the moon cycle shift. In other words, we have lots of research to do, so let's see what the daily cards say. So today, so we still have half the day. Look at this, they're buying it up. Closed Friday with a 5, now moved to a 10. Friday revealed a strong overnight session that was mostly sold off during the cash session. So I call it a negative. Okay, this likely continues that final push to the downside, which we did get so far. And it's actually held. We can take a look at that chart. It has held. Possible viable dip here. In the event that we bounce from overnight lows and attempt a green day, then it's likely that the last one for a bit. Likely the last low. Oh, here we go. Especially with the wheel arriving tomorrow. Wheel of Fortune. This looks like a long, boys and girls. I don't know. Big Daddy Green Reversion Day. I know this card. It's major arcana and therefore brings big energy. It tends to revert the prior day while also printing multiple mean reversion events throughout the session, meaning it could be a tricky day to trade. We are still at the top of that candle. To further that point, Monday may bring a buyable dip. The wheel is usually positive, so we should see buying pressure prevail. However, we are unlikely to see a trend day on Tuesday. Lastly, this card loves to flip back again the following day, so be ready to flip your position by the close. Okay, she's saying long, short. Oh man, I think this is, yeah, we're extending. It's a long, boys and girls. I'm watching Bitcoin. This is our second in the series of four major arcana cards expected to close the week. The Hermit advises us to stay away, spend some time searching internally, meditating, and resting. This is looking better. Not big green yet. We should not chase a trade on Wednesday. The Hermit loves to bring a euphoric rally that sets up a decent top/short trade, but it can take time for the selling to manifest. Ooh, I don't like that. Since the wheel likes to revert before and after, it could diminish the strength of our Hermit. So hope for a rally that's great for day trading, but we need to take a protective posture if Tuesday is positive. Lost her keys again. Yeah, unreal. So Thursday, the Emperor returns, the rule of the Iron Fist, which means order will be restored. So if we are too euphoric into the beginning of the week, order will be restored on Thursday. Prices should move much more methodically, mostly positive, but loves to keep us range bound, closing just above flat. If the Hermit sets up a top, this could be an accumulation phase that keeps us in place, chop day, until the bottom drops out. And if the Hermit was red, then it's possibly an accumulation day for dip buyers. In either case, expect rallies to be capped and dips to be supported. Okay, that sounds boring. Friday, this is non-farm payroll day. One of the strongest and most positive cards in the deck. Really? Okay. Often bringing trend days to the upside. If it plays out, she's calling a big non-farm payroll Friday. Plays out, it does indeed set up a semi-negative Hermit and accumulation day on Thursday. This is setup number 1, huh? Okay, so if she's saying if we have a semi-negative hermit and accumulation day on Thursday, then she's long into Friday. Alternatively, if the hermit was green and the emperor helped us digest that move, the justice could bring yet another breakout. The weekly card has a positive bias, so we must keep that in mind. The only reason to get short at all this week would be as if Monday is majorly bearish and flips the moon. Now Monday so far is majorly neutral. Like this, majorly not gone anywhere on Monday. The only reason is if Monday is majorly bearish and flips the moon card, likely impacting these 4 major arcana cards. Otherwise, we're mostly buying dips, but patiently. Be patient, says Miss Cleo. Sound advice. Sound advice. All right, so that's it. So with the recap, the moon helps us. The moon helps us moon, or it reveals. She basically has no idea. Is what she just. I hate it when she does this. She basically said, "I have no idea." This is the key to the weekly price action. In the case of the former, we look for weakness on Monday and some mean reversion Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday should chop, and Friday should trend. Thursday chop, Friday trend. Big non-farm payroll day. Buy the dip unless negative energy becomes extremely dominant. What I will say is if Friday's a big trend day, like Miss Cleo's saying, I will say we don't swing post a big non-farm payroll day because things can digest for a while. So keep that in mind. All right, here's where we are. So I'm drilled down really low. Let's go ahead and take a look at these 30-minute candlesticks. If you can't tell, we have gone absolutely nowhere. We opened slightly red and have come back out of it, and we are landing right now smack in the middle of yesterday's range. This orange box, this is an average week's range on SPY SPY. We are still firmly in the chop from 2 weeks ago. If that was the low, an average week's range to the upside still takes us to 580 on the upside for SPY. So 580, if you see that come Friday, done, over, expect at least 3 days of sideways action from there. To the downside, if this was the high, look, an average week's range takes us actually all the way down to the 20-day simple moving average, which would be a beautiful retest. I'd sit on my hands if we got there and then wait for a setup to appear. But what's true is that we have only traveled half of an average week's range last week. So we may have a smaller week this week until we get to Friday. So I'll tell you guys this right now. I don't expect major movement until we do get to Friday. And if we do get major movement ahead of it, it's likely going to be in anticipation of. So it may not last, kind of like what Miss Cleo is kind of reading up. In the meantime, here's what we should do. So in the meantime, we have really this primary box. I'm going to take a couple lines off, but inside these 2 blue lines, that's where we are. So this has been the chop zone for the last week and a half. If we're still in this range, look, guys, we're still in this range. This consolidation here that we just hit, quite frankly, that was today's high. So this is going to be our major kind of like, okay, if we're over essentially what ends up being today's high, then it ideally could push us out of this box, which we have not gotten out of yet. So to be fair, we're still firmly stuck in this box. And until we really break out, I don't expect a whole lot of movement. It could be very trappy. So look at these lower wicks so far. It's been extremely trappy where it looks like it's going to break down, but it eventually holds. For now, I would point this out. It's something to be concerned about, but not like be aware that this is here. And this would be kind of like your bear flag, if you will. So this is here, but the bear flags don't always play out exactly like this. We're going to go through a couple setups because we do see a lot of setups that look very similar, where if you're looking at this, something like here, or even a little bit before then, sometimes you look at this and you're like, hey, look, we are breaking out. A lot of charts are exactly in this setup. So I think it's important to understand what happens when we get into these. Sometimes you get a fake break even a little bit higher, and then it pulls back and you pull back into this range. That's typically a short, like a quick short. but only to like the midpoint of this channel. That's it. And when you get here, a lot of times things will pop back up, and then this fail is a better short normally, right? But you don't want to take that, because a lot of times, other times, and this is the choppy one, it pops up, reclaims, and then holds. This situation, so this is going to be the major pivot of the week. That's 572 spot 88 on SPY. I don't know what it is on ES for you futures traders, but you know what? Let's take a look. Yeah, that's what's weird. So on ES, this looks, am I looking at this right? Yeah, I hate how this does this. ES actually looks completely different than SPY. It looks like it's holding. If this fails, like SPY is starting to look. Oh, I'm sorry. So here's SPY. Here's ES. Yeah, it has not gone through. So it's super similar. Be very cautious. That top this morning is almost picture perfect to ES, I'd say. Almost picture perfect. But if you remember, some of these can turn really bullish really quick. So it's kind of like sit on your hand moment. So this was Coinbase, and we'll just do this just last week, and we will I'll use this as a bit of a transition. So Coinbase, you're over the 20-day. I can take this non-farm payroll thing off. You're over the 20-day in this setup. Here's your little flag. You've come out here. You're looking good. And you actually create a new one. Oh, this was it, actually. Just like this. So you're looking good. You're holding. And this moment, all of a sudden, you're like, oh, crap, it needed to hold. But it becomes a short for just like a couple minutes sometimes. And it actually can push pretty, I believe it was pretty brutal. Oh, no, that day. Was it that day? It was just this moment, just like half a session. So it dips below. That actually wasn't bad. Dips below, comes back up. And then now where we are, we're actually kind of like retesting the same level. So 2 days right into the 50. That was target. And here we are, Coinbase kind of pulling back a little bit more on this one. I don't know that this is done pulling back just yet, but I do know that this is now broken, this primary trend, and I should be looking for dips to be bought in this area, but the dips could come as low as a full retest down here. So we'll take a look at that. There's two things. So Bitcoin, and I'm going to transition this into the Bitcoin. Yeah, just let SPY digest that. I really wouldn't do much on SPY. So here's the Bitcoin chart. We were looking pretty good. Lower high here, higher low. Now we have a higher high for sure after this double top. This red line is the 200-day simple moving average. I'm going to highlight that just for a little bit. I think that's going to be important. You guys want to watch that level. The rest are not going to be as important. What happened is that we came in. What I did was I took this top and this top, these last two highs, and we had a trend line, boom, that had been kind of acting as like resistance for a while. So from here, ideally, like the best case scenario is that actually Bitcoin holds just around here and eventually can kind of get back over that 200-day simple moving average. Here's what I did is I just took this average consolidation price of this area, and I'm just doing this live with you right now. And that's going to line me up pretty much to a fair value right over here. So I said 64 in a post, give or take. That's going to line up to about his 200-day. What we're really going to look at is I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. Let's assume that we lose the 200-day simple moving average. What I'm going to be looking for, if this does come down, I'm going to be looking for two higher lows underneath the 200-day simple moving average. That's going to create another one of those kind of bull flag setup or bear flag setups. And if that said bear flag fails, I'm just going to tell you guys right now that that's an extremely bullish failed bear flag, whatever it is. So I'm looking for a second higher low below the 200-day simple moving average, because right now this looks like this very moment we're likely going to fail, which could look scary. So hold on to your pants just for a little bit, because this is coming down as we speak. But it ideally may get bought up. So when? Maybe next week, maybe later this week, we'll see. And I think that might be around 60K, 800, 61K, something like that. So we fill essentially this fair value. But during this, if we sell off, this is going to be like the Bitcoin dominance. If Bitcoin sells off and the total market cap of crypto, here's the crypto market cap, can stabilize around here. And you want to look at things like Solana specifically. Solana, this is not anything like Bitcoin so far. This actually looks a lot more constructive. It has not popped nearly as much. You can look at whatever you want. Link USDT. These are like totally fine. I like Avalanche. Pulling back. Really, these have not gone yet. So if the altcoins, my point is, if the altcoins have a smaller pullback than Bitcoin and then start to rally faster than Bitcoin, guys, that the combination of those two things with the total market cap actually holding and starting to rally also, that's going to be a massive inflection point. But the combination of the total market cap growing with Bitcoin dominance as a whole failing, so if Bitcoin starts to be not outperforming the altcoins and the total market cap is growing net, then guys, that's going to be a big sign for long. But for right now, look, market's kind of in turmoil. It's still digesting. It's melting. He goes, it's melting finally. You know, it looks like it's melting, but we really haven't broken a whole lot of range just yet. I want a refund from Emp though. He said it's pre-recorded. It wasn't gonna be a nothing burger. It still might be a nothing burger, guys. Let's be real. But the truth is, we're still in range. So IWM getting shellacked the hardest, unfortunately, at the moment. Dixie ripping. So this is my view all the time. You kind of know why. Just these 6 charts, I get a really good view of the market overall. This is kind of trending, all 4 of them. The dollar here is your primary culprit, as you know, which is going to take over a lot of these others. Crude. And I really don't look at VIX that much, but I'm assuming it's going to be up. VIX is not even up that much. Yeah, so they're not buying. All that tells me right now is that they're not actually buying a ton of like long duration protection or 30-day to expiration protection on SPX. Yields going up. Looks like he probably said something like higher for longer. Apple, the top again for the market. I need to, yeah, it's choppy, right? Apple is the top again let's take a look at Apple, which I haven't done. But did you guys catch this? So if the total market cap, which is barely moving here, holds really like around this area, and the altcoins start outperforming Bitcoin, if the altcoins start outperforming Bitcoin on this, whatever the next pop is, it's time. It's time. And that is Uptober. You think the Bitcoin rally could be wild? It's nothing compared to some of these others. Looks like market's finally getting some movement here. Frankie, I should have held my short. I told you. That's how they get you. This is how they get you. All right. Well, while the market's taking a breather here, or at least trying to figure out what it wants to do, let's take a look. So I told you guys I wanted to look at a couple of things. Lulu, for sure. And this was interesting. So the same kind of setup we just saw, right? So big kind of bear flag, if you will. We call like inverted. Is that what he said? 2 more cuts, 25 each by the end of the year. Oh, well, that sucks. If Okay, you have to wait for the market to digest that. If that's what he said, then essentially, well, we need to check this out. So CBOE Fed Watch tool, um, the market I think was really just pricing in a lot more. So I'm doing this live with you guys. Yeah, so January, we're now. I mean, the market's not priced this out just yet. So this moved up a little bit more at the moment. This might take a bit to digest. So maybe you can screenshot this and take a look at it tomorrow. Give this tool like an hour or so to update, just in case. Yeah, it looks like some of these estimates for next week's are or next ones are going to be a little bit higher. Yeah, so we're current. I don't know. I believe we're at like 5.5. We're at 5. So yeah, this should go up higher. This has come down quite a bit. So whatever they were pricing in for 50 basis point is gone for November. And same thing here. They're still pushing this higher. This has got to go down to 0. They should not be thinking 75 basis points. This should not have anything here. This should be more like sub 5% probability. And this needs to go up a little bit more too. Yeah, so the market's basically repricing this. So I actually use this tool a lot to price in like where should we be on the markets. Yeah, interesting. The dollar just ripping right now. Look at this. So I think the dollar can bounce, but really we want to see it stabilize at least somewhere in here. When the dollar gets over 101.50, then I'm probably going to be thinking heavily reload. I actually like silver here. SLV. Gold has had a hell of a time for sure. Silver's getting into an area that's like a retest as well. So any kind of liquidity grabs in this zone, I'm actually looking to be adding into a silver position. 28, pretty much 28. But I'm going to add this as an alert. You can draw this across. It's a big level. It's a big level. So if we get in here, I think we start buying it. This is unlike gold. This hasn't actually moved yet. It's had a decent move, but it's not like the gold move. Let's see. GC. Pulling back. I think this has got to take a big break. I'm short on futures. I was short on futures all morning, and then I finally closed. I was looking at, look, we were just toying with this pre-market high multiple times and finally cut it. This would be pretty much your target, though. To be fair, just that pre-market low right here on the Qs, and then see what happens. But we're coming in pretty high here. I said Lulu. I got to look at Lulu. So Lulu here, if we come back in, there's a little channel that it's creating. What I want to do is, let me use this other tool. I want to watch this. And so Lulu might be like a Nike. Who knows? This is that trend, that channel. And when I say channel, I'm taking these now. These highs. So towards the bottom half of this channel, which is going to line up to both its like 20-day and 50-day. So maybe it's a short for now. Who knows? But if we get back in somewhere like this, pop, I'm actually looking longer. And someone said 311 on Lulu. That's pretty much exactly what I'm looking for. Right in here. So 289 is where we stopped. And then this is going to be a really big deal. So that's essentially just retesting the top end or the bottom of that end of that prior support channel right in here. But see this volume shelf right here? That's about that 311 area. So 305, I would cut it short just under 300 first. But look for a higher low from here, honestly. So the last low was 257, which seems like a ways away. If you didn't know, Lulu has like a massive average daily range. And there's a little gap. So this is going to be right into 260. It's about $10 lower. I'm going to hone in on this. Yeah, just over 260. I like it. So I'm marking this level as just over 260 on Lulu. Somewhere in this box. There's a little bit of a fair value, and this is the major point of control. If she holds that, I think you just go for it. Take a shot. Yeah, Q's falling. This is feeling like it's continuing. Boom. Oh, through pre-market lows. And M said it wasn't going to be tradable. Probably the biggest trade of the week right there. Hey, what did Miss Cleo say? I'm going to read this. If Moon helps us reveal illusion, this is key weekly price. In case of the form, we look weakness on Monday. This is a lot of weakness now on Monday. And mean reversion Tuesday, Wednesday. Just a reminder, Miss Cleo said to swing long at this close. This looks short. This looks like hard. How do you swing long into this? Beautiful, Austin. I'm jelly. Not a joke. I'm jelly. Right here. So this is, we're coming into the mid channel. If you guys are trading this live, I'll help you out. So this is Q's right here. So this consolidation area, this is pretty much your profit target. Just be careful here, guys. This is going to be, so here's your consolidation. Right here is that point of control. 482.75. Wait for it to get there, react. And if it reclaims, let's say if it breaches just a little bit and gets back above and closes over, it's a long. For now, you can, I would probably just be trailing out. It's a big move. Don't chase that. Don't chase it. Congrats. Look, you guys are going a little wild. Miss Cleo must be on. Do not trust me. Like some of these things look like they're just blasting through, and then all of a sudden it's like too much. But you're right here. You're at a critical point on the Qs. Let's see what it is for a SPY. SPY feels the same. Yep. This is the low end of that consolidation range. So still in the box, boys and girls, still in the box, not out of the box. Point of control here is a little bit higher. This is essentially that pre-market low. SPY does not look nearly as good as Q's. Does it finally? Do we finally break range? This is what I was talking about. This is like the picture perfect. You have this happening. You have your little whatever it is. And if you looked at it early, you would have thought that we're breaking out. Now we just come back in. But that's it. Honestly, that is it. That's it for the trade. Unless you're making a new level and you're doing this, I wouldn't press this like at all. This is possibly going to bounce right in your face. Look at that. We'll see. We shall see. Let it breathe. And you know, the long might look at who's long. What's in the box? What's in the box? Who's long? They're all long. The futures traders are long. Guys, you can't see that far on these futures charts. I'm telling you, you don't have this much view. I played with futures, and dude, I can't do anything if I'm trading futures. It's like I'm stuck. Like I literally can't do anything else. Man, look at this. We'll see. That's quite frankly like full trade right there. Congrats. I would legit be. Yes, Austin. Beautiful. Absolutely. That's exactly 463. Exactly right. This is 462 and change. Boom. Congrats. That's actually a really big trade on futures for anything. That's a huge trade, you guys. So amazing. Amazing. Call it a day. Come back at the close. For sure. But hey, if we continue on, it's gonna be what we're gonna see is that if we do reverse, what we're gonna see is we're gonna see the dollar coming back down. So remember, look at DXY as a Dixie. Look at this, you guys, 100%. But watch the Dixie. Watch TLT. Honestly, or like this is the long bond. This should probably flatten out. I really wouldn't have anybody trading TLT right here. If anything, like maybe neutral strategies. And again, I missed his whole speech, so I don't know. And probably a bunch of you guys are shorting the VIX right now. That could be a big pop to short. Yeah, to 17. Look at this. Beautiful targets. Be flat, guys. Next trade is coming. Stocks go 3 directions. They run, they rest. They go up, they don't go down, they go sideways. That was a big move, big run. Give it a rest. All right. Yeah. Austin crushed it. Cool. So that said, everything else is setting up for a bigger move. And I don't know where the move is happening. It could be coming, but it's not really like the best risk reward in general. You guys had, let's do Tesla. So I know some people had Tesla 10-10 event coming. We are, I think, near targets. Like we're right into this major range. It's possible. So 10 days till the event, it's possible that we chop for the majority of that and then have like one final push that actually gets sold off right into it. What I'd say is down here. So you're in this major consolidation range right now. You're right at the top of this. It's this big pivot. So I think there's a fair value to whatever that was. But this is a big pivot 262 level. Has been for years. I see years because, as sad as it sounds, Tesla's actually been sideways for a really long time. I don't need moving averages, but we're going to look at this area here. So this is what we just hit on good old Tessie. So we've gone through the major point of control for like the last 5 years of consolidation. This is still looking good. Can it come down? Yes, it can. So don't fool yourself there. It can come down. This line I just made is going to be pretty critical. I'm going to take this off for just a minute. And I'm going to take this off for just a minute. This is done. We know we're here. We know we're over this. And we know that we're through this trend line. 289 remains like a target to the upside. That's like blow off toppy type target. So just be careful. I don't know that we get that in the actual full session. It could be something that happens after hours. So for now, we have a setup forming. We have a catalyst on deck. This 253, I would really like to see that hold. 253 is going to bring me right to the top of a lot of these areas, right into here, essentially. So I do want to see 253 holds. I can take this in. Let's go ahead and grab this wick right there. I have a lot of confluence with this. Boom. Right there. 251. So that's 251.50, 251.47. I want to see Tesla hold over that. I've taken a lot of my profits on my trade. I have like a butterfly trade that gets me up into here, but I'm over a double right now. And quite frankly, my trade does best at this moment if it just chops between 250 and 270. Obviously, this is that last kind of peak right here. So right now, unless Tesla is trading over here, 271, look, we're kind of stuck in this consolidation range. It can come back in down a little bit. I don't want to see it come to like 230s because then your near-term trades are just going to get absolutely demolished. I do have a trade that actually makes money in that instance, but I'd rather it not have to do that, but it's possible. I think I'm going to take down. Let's see. I may take down a little bit more, but that was a bit of a toppy candle coming into this event. So typically we get close to these catalysts for things like a Tesla, and you get a little bit of a sell-off, especially if you've had a big run coming into it. It's possible, right? So even just this last dip from around just under 200s, look, we're like 30% up in a few sessions. So that's your pre-event run up. I think this could rest a little bit. I think Tesla can rest a little bit. At the end of the day, I think it's healthy to rest, which means that pullbacks should probably be looked at. But I think that pullback, I'm like this. I'm long. I'm staying long. I'm not going to press any leverage bets. And I have a little bit of downside protection, but a more interesting pullback to me is going to be closer to 235, if that. But I hope that we don't get that. I hope we just go sideways and the event happens and then boom, that would be ideal. Can I look at Rocket Lab? Jacob, have we gone through Rocket Lab? I will go through Rocket Lab tomorrow with Amit. I do think that Rocket Lab is potentially a multi-year, multi-bagger. No question. The Rocket Lab story is it always has been, but it's one that's like a Rivian. It's gonna come down to costs, really. And so like Rivian, unfortunately for Rivian, last quarter we're supposed to show some progress on margins and we didn't. That's the problem. So last quarter we actually Rivian lost $1.26 per share against $1.24 per share estimate loss, right? And that was 2 cents worse than the quarter before. So the street needed to see progress in terms of gross profit per vehicle sold, and they didn't. Next quarter is going to be the massive quarter for Rivian. So here's the thing. If Rivian does not show an improvement on the margins per car per vehicle sold, it's a wrap. We got to sell because something is wrong. We're missing something. The street is expecting a major improvement. Honestly, this is like a 20% improvement on gross margins. They have released the new models, like multiple new models. So they should be shipping a lot of new models that supposedly have a lot of cost benefits built into them. So the street and me want to see that margin improvement going into this coming quarter. This is going to be a huge deal for Rivian moving forward. I'm still long. I'm going to give him one more quarter, but this is the thing. Fool me once, shame on me, right? Shame on you. Fool me twice, I can't do it. So this is the quarter for Rivian, for your boy. And if they don't pull it out, look, fool me twice, shame on me. And that's what happens. Maybe it goes in a box for however long. But it's if they miss twice in a row, I'm just telling you, I'm not going to be the only one feeling that way. So even if they do show some improvement, it's not going to have that big of an effect on the stock price itself, unfortunately. Because although revenue growing, it's very much about the margins. So they could be increasing revenue, but if the revenue is increasing, but so are the losses per vehicle, that's not good. That's the burn rate. Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, they're supposed to have, like a FedEx or a different, there's supposed to be some partnership, right? That's still kind of hush-hush. That has not been released. So if that happens, again, this is a big deal. This is a big quarter coming for Rivian. I'm just going to tell you guys that right now. So hopefully, when is this quarter? This is November 6th. So normally it's about 2 to 3 weeks ahead of the quarter. That means that time-wise, if you're trying to time the market. Rivian can stall around this price for the next 2 weeks, but mid October, we should be getting, actually, it might even start sooner than later. We should be getting a pre-earnings bump on earnings very soon, similar to what we saw on Tesla. But look, I will tell you here, this is not a sell, Rivian, for me. It's just not. Like, if you do get it, it's because people don't expect them to have a better quarter this quarter. But I'm telling you now, if they do, and which they are clearly selling it off, right? If they do have a better quarter, this thing is going to rip your face off because it's not exactly expected right now. He said it's this quarter, but there's a lot of anticipation. And this is a coiled spring, no question. There's a lot of anticipation around Rivian for sure. But yeah, well, so Volkswagen invested in Rivian. I think Rivian actually has this FSD play that's super similar to Tesla's, not kind of like Waymo or anything like that. But I think honestly, Volkswagen Cruise, they don't have that. So that's why Volkswagen would actually invest in them for the software, really. All right, let's take a look at Lily. Let's get back on track. This is Rivian. I'm telling you guys, big deal. So Lily, we looked at this. This was like were you in the server asking about this one? And this was a not to push short yesterday or Friday. This is possible long, believe it or not. So Lily, possible long. I think earnings are coming. Remember, 2 to 3 weeks ahead of a report, you'll start to get a earnings pump or pop rather. And from this low to this high, this was a 50% retracement, literally to the penny on a daily scale. It also lined up to this order block, kind of like right in here. So this was right here. So see these lows? So this 1, 2, 3, 4-day consolidation here. 1, 2, 3, 4-day consolidation here. So this is a pivot spot on Lily. Oh yeah, I think you can swing this bad boy long. Swing this one long into earnings. You're going to fill this gap. You're probably going to come right back into 900s. Is that a good trade? Look at Lily gives no fucks about the market right now. Look at that. So this is what we call, if you guys are learning price action concepts too, this is technically a 2 down, like directional down from a strat perspective, but it's a failed 2 down. Like we're not closing at the lows yet. You're probably going to bounce. Lily's long. Look at she along. SLB. Look, I like SLB. I'm typing your thing. I like. Ooh, I might really like SLB here. The problem I have with Slab or Schlumberger is that it's a swing trade only. So definite critical spot. Let's measure this. This low to the high. There's potentially a little bit more downside to go. Potentially. That's at 36, which would not be fun for any type of options trade. So I think maybe wait a little bit. You got earnings 18th. You got a what we call descending wedge here. So sometimes these are just like slow grinds. That's channel down. So yeah, I think 36s are better. I would wait on this one. Take your shot around that level if you're bouncing off the bottom of this trend. So essentially take these series of lows. Your better shot to go long is actually at those, especially if you're defending them. Definitely better shots to go along here. This could be one where like you just hold forever. But yeah, it's a little bit of a channel down. So either at the bottom, take your shots, trim at the tops, and then there should be a center line. Let's go take this off. It might be at the center line. Yeah, you're okay. So you're at the center line. So it's going to go like this. Either sub 37, look for a 2 to 3 candlestick on a daily perspective reversal, or it's over this order block around 43. And if it's over 43, I think you can go ahead and take it. Right here, it's the inside day ahead of earnings, I think we're guessing. Dude, I didn't even know, Brad. I did not know that Amazon had Prime Day too. So we got a nice little dip. This is a big pivot. Amazon 189. So essentially, look, this is similar. This is the prevailing kind of downtrend. And then you had really like the more recent one that looked like that. So, and really just from these bottom two. Come on. My mouse is so sensitive because. So just these is a little concerning. It's all similar. Let's break this down. Yeah. So, I mean, they're fighting here. Amazon's one where I think I said it last week. Like, you know, I didn't want to go long. Amazon here is too close for comfort at that 200 level where we know Bezos is just chilling, waiting. Let's do this. So you got a dip run here. So I think you're close. So connect these two lows, this low, this low. Just know that you do have a session, looks like a session gap here. Clean session gap around 171. If it continues downside, that is full target. But it's not, to me, this isn't actually breaking it. And these kind of wicks like this, I don't know. That's more bullish behavior. So it's towards the low here. It can go sideways. Like, let's say if this went sideways until here and then went up, I think that's fine, which, you know, could mean like this. The thing is, like, I don't know that I want to take it immediately here, because then your first target's here. And if you're, depending on your expiration of options, that could mean that you get, like, you bleed out pretty heavily. So take that with a grain of salt. This is that point of control here. It's about 183 on Amazon. It's sideways at the moment. But yeah, Prime Day is not till like the 3rd. So, you know, Prime Day was not, it was a nothing burger last time. I think that if you were to have a Prime Day run up, this was probably it. Micron, we'll hit this one. You guys like semis. Yeah, so Micron was not a press long. Right into this prior resistance. Not the best look, obviously. I know they did kind of fix their commentary. I swear that comment, though, is going to go down as like the worst. We're sold out through 2025. The way I do this is, like, we'll take this earnings candle here, the full press. And so from here to that, this is like 114 in the pre-market. Your, what we call like half gap of this is going to sit you right at 104. For now, you're right at that exact like golden pocket. So it does line up to potentially want to be long right in here, but your long is not like for the full breakout. It's literally just to here. And then you might get a little stellar step potentially to here. That's it, right? And you have to be fully out of Micron by 112.38 if you do get this bounce. And here's why. If this is not a new high, like let's say if this does not extend on this earnings press through 114.80, this is not going higher. I'm sorry, right there. Then Micron is not going higher. You have to be aware. There's no situation where if this, whatever this next attempt is on Micron, if it does not break through 114.80, it is done. It's done for a very long time. Likely 3 months. It's not going anywhere. I mean, it's done. Like, it's not going up. It's not going down. It's in this box for literally 3 months. So just know, if it cannot make it through on its first attempt, it's over. Are we done with LRCX? Vlad wants. I closed these early, but I did see. So LRCX, Lamb Research, a good company, has a split coming, I believe, Tuesday after the close. This is the gap that just filled. And this was what I was worried about yesterday. Yeah, I think you can hit this again. So this was a session gap. This was the risk. I think you could take that again. What contract though? 850s maybe. This is an expensive stock. It's an expensive stock. And again, you don't really want after the split. Here's the thing. The split is, how come I don't have it on my? There's like a box that I need to check that says show splits and earnings. Splits, good God. So here's the split coming. It's a 10-to-1 split. So after the split, that's tomorrow. Oh no, Thursday, October 3rd. I'm sorry. Okay. So after the split, that contract is going to have like little to no volume, like at all. So I think we're not done with LRCX. I think that's a good session gap fill. I like that. I like this entry point ahead of the split for a little bounce, but you're not holding this past Thursday. You're out of this bad boy Thursday morning. Done and done. If you're going to take it. So wait for it to come get you. Jacob, Microsoft looks bullish to me. Long term. But I think it's in this consolidation. So give this a little bit. Big run, big rest. We really want to see this kind of base. And so this could be like 2 to 3 days basing and then take another shot. But if you see it holding in this area, I agree that if Microsoft holds this zone, holds this zone, and it's from here to here, this was prior resistance, top of the box. If this prior resistance is now support, it's pretty bullish. Pretty bullish. Bottom of that box is 420 spot 57, 420 is 57. A fail doesn't break this down at all to me. It's just, if this is going to break down, like if this chart is a straight up short, it's not a short until it's much higher, like this. And then even then it could rip your face off. But I like it longer term for sure. 490 on Q's tomorrow. Ooh. Let me do a quick time check. Did we bounce that big? Dude. Big bounce, boys and girls. You're welcome for telling you not to press that short bet. You're welcome. Let me get to my Q's chart. It's possible. I don't know about tomorrow. Maybe Wednesday. Yeah, but it's this. This is when I said trappy. That is the definition of trappy. For sure. But look, we're not. Sometimes this is so. Go back to that Coinbase chart. Remember that quick little liquidity grab. Whoop. If this gets back over 46, that's a long, boys and girls. Because what's true? Here's what's true. Think about it this way. Think about this objectively. If the stock market was trying to go higher, which it was, right? It was trying to go higher. It didn't have enough buyers at this level to get there. It just didn't. So what did it have to do? It had to come down lower. And this is, if you're going to be a bear, be a good bear, right? If you're going to come down lower, you had to come down lower. If you wanted to go higher, you had to come down lower to what? To pick up more buyers. So you had to go lower than this. So now you went here potentially to pick up more buyers. So it's possible that you get a full-blown reversal this week from here. Possible. But it needs to start making that attempt one more time, which means that it has to be over the top of this, which is 46.21, to know that you're actually going to make that attempt. And if you make that attempt, yeah, you're likely going to break through here. Honestly, dude, you're likely going to break through 490 because whoever was here before is still in there. They're not likely trapped out. But until then, this is just like, look, that now this is starting to look like what we call a kill candle or exhaustion candle, and you let the market digest this move. We'll see. And then if this comes down, here's the thing. If this comes down and makes a higher low, where is a higher low going to show up, you guys? I'll give it to you right now. 483.80. If a higher low shows up right there, this is not a short if it can't get below that. So I think if you're bearish, the bulls are waiting 483 and change. MSCR or WGMI shorts. I don't even know what that is. WGMI. Valkyrie. No, I don't know this one. You could do Beto. It depends on your time horizon and what kind of drawdown you're willing to go through. I think you just wait, right? So you just wait. You want to watch this total crypto cap. I would be long ETH. Like there's a micro now on Grayscale. ETHU. Do I need to pull this up? ETHE. So there's a Grayscale ETHE, but then there's a mini Grayscale, which is like ETH is like $2. Yeah, I'm with Zay. If you're going to be short Bitcoin, I would just short Mara or the miners. Straight up. MicroStrat is too much of a legit proxy because that's all it is. But I would be short like a Mara. And honestly, when you think about it, if this is alt season, you guys, I don't want to be long a Bitcoin miner. Like if that's all they're mining is Bitcoin, whatever, right? Like, cause that's not where the juice is. The juice is going to be in the alts. And if you don't capture the alts, I'm cool. I don't need you. I closed my Disney just a little bit ago. It's a good move. We'll see. It will bounce. So the next target on Disney, that's actually not horrible. Do you need to reopen this? Do I need to reopen this? Disney was crazy strong in that last move. I think, a solid retest is into this 95s. It hit my first target right into 97s here, which was really like this area. So see here, pop up, breakdown. So this is the first one. I would let this chill for a little bit and maybe see if it pulls down. Holding 90, just under 94 is fine, but it's not going to be going again until it's back over 97. And in that case, your next stop is 92. It's not big targets, guys. This is not it doesn't move that much. So is right in that 92, right into here. But the options, what's cool about Disney is the option premiums are really not expensive. So if you catch a move, they actually pay really well. So one reason to like Disney options. And then, 106 is like way out there. I'm not shooting for any of this at the time, at this moment. But the next shot I would take, instead of being in 97 calls or 95 calls, the next shot I would take would be like $100 calls to go in there. Am I still in NY? Yeah, man. I'm still in NYCB. I'm not leaving this. No. it's just chilling. It's just chilling. Hopefully this is still building the base. I'm not leaving that for a long time. UPS looked good. I took another trim this morning. I feel like, and then I moved my stops up, which I have not stopped out. This actually looks ideal. This is first target. So again, what I do is I'm just taking this point at this last consolidation area and this point of control for that area. That was like 136. That's the target. I'd love to see this closing over 136 today. To keep this 138. So now we go back into this box, ideally, right? So this is how it works. So if you get a push to the upside and you get it into this box, the problem I have holding a lot here is that you could come all the way back to 133 and you're still in this box now. And it's not a short. So I'd stay long. And depending on the tool, you need to see a series of higher lows. And if that's the low for the day, today, that low, that's a good higher low, right? So that's basically yesterday's high. So Friday's high, if this is the low for the day, that's good. So stay long and you're going to the top of this consolidation box. And I'd probably undercut that just slightly into that 138. So not a lot here. 138.50, nearly just underneath 140. Not a lot here, but I want to see it hold at least that center line, which is basically Friday's high. I don't know what this is. SMLR. What's your favorite short-term play besides Tesla? Short-term play. I think it's setting up right now, right? Like I'm gonna like Ruru Ramon if that does fire. I would. I'm gonna tell you what. I still like coin. So like if Coinbase holds here, right? And we start to, so here's the thing, Dan and the crew. If what I'm saying, I've repeated myself multiple times about this crypto thing. If the altcoins hold steady, then you're going to be trading the crap out of those. Absolute Roku long. And, you know, Coinbase has earnings coming soon. So Coinbase has earnings at the end of October. So we are this first push, remember I said 2 to 3 weeks in ahead of earnings, you get that push. I think we got the preemptive pop on Coinbase. I still really like this. Like, I'm not joking. I still really like this. The problem I have is that this is moving with Bitcoin. I think that if Bitcoin can stabilize right around wherever it just fell to, if it stays there, and like I said, if you see the altcoins start to go, then the market, I believe, is going to really start pricing in a lot of the extra trading volume ahead of Coinbase's report at the end of the month. And quite frankly, even if it doesn't, I still think the market's going to do exactly that. So to that end, what's my favorite short-term trade? Dude, it's Coinbase, man. And then, yeah, silver, but silver's not really short-term. But I think Coinbase here now, and so Coinbase, I might trade this a couple different ways because you guys know the premiums on Coinbase are insane. I absolutely still have my Con-L shares. That's 2x leverage Coinbase. I still have it, right? I'm not even opposed to adding more here, but I have a lot. But Coinbase, look, tomorrow, and I'm not going to add anything. So I took down the short-term stuff. I think I'm thinking this 220s right in here. So I'm kind of over Tesla for now. If you didn't catch that, because most of that is done. But Coinbase, look, man, I feel pretty strong about this for those catalysts. So if alt season is here, it's coming, and we have earnings at the end of the month, the market's going to know that Coinbase has increased a ton of trading volumes. Today, this looks like a pretty solid retest. The problem with Coinbase is really, it's like you can get this and you could chop around for 2-3 days, and that is going to burn the crap out of you. So, to that end, I think it's going to make this move ahead of earnings. before the end of the month. Before. So I really still love Coinbase for all those reasons. Hopefully you got that. That is my favorite short-term pick. There you go. Let's take a look. Can we do Oxy? Yeah, let's take a look at these oils. Okay, so Oxy, this is AMP. This is it. I like me some Oxy. Higher low today. Higher low. You're closing. Yes, go long. She's long, baby. I'll ping Dolphin. This is a no-brainer. This is kind of, honestly, this is a robotic response to this chart. So robotic response, higher low, closing over this pivot is a long. Yeah, for sure. Very much robotic response right here. So I'm going to take a look at the chain earnings November 11th. Immediately I go straight to boom. There it is, baby. Oh, what? October 18th, $55 calls trading at 28 cents. Okay. Volume 10,600 and climbing on those contracts traded today. You heard it here first, folks. And they're not, so again, they're not really going out buying a bunch of time. November 11th, you're getting a little bit of that pre-move. I don't want to buy November 15th because that's going to capture the earnings report. And with increasing volatility comes increasing decay. Can you go out further and snap up some like Jan 60 calls? Yeah, you betcha. Can you go even further than that and go into June? You can. But then you're really starting to pay up. 138,000 calls today compared to 27,000 puts. It's a long, baby. It's a long. All right. Sorry. Enough of that. Did Exxon? No, see, Exxon didn't give you that. Oxy did. Oxy's the play. I'm taking that today. Yes, I will revisit Roblox, and that's it. No. No, it's not long. No, so November 6th, I think give this a couple days to chillax. You're going to revisit this. It's almost along. So what you're looking for, so you're 2 down. This is today. So today on Roblox is a setup day. So what I mean by that, this is, so again, if you're learning price action for the first time, we're looking for, there are only 3 types of candles, right? There are only 3 types of candles. The first scenario of a candle is inside the prior day's candle. That is what we have explicitly today. The second type of candle is when one side of this breaks through the prior candle. So that's a directional candle. That's it. This is like second scenario. The third scenario of a candle is where you actually break both sides. And so this is scenario 1 here. Scenario 2 looks like that, where you break that first candle, which is going to be this high. So we've 2 directional. This is 2 up. And then this setup here is a reversal. We call this 2 because this candle is directionally, it's only broken what? It's broken the low end of this big candle. This candle is also a 2 because it only broke at one end, directional to the downside. So really, it's like this. If you close over today, 46.62, it's constructive, but it's not directional until you get over 45. And in this instance, your target's actually going to be all the way up here to 47. And then really what you do is you take this big candle and you grab a fib and you go 50% of that range. And so this, my friend, is your trade now. And it looks simple like this. 2, 1, 2 is the setup. That's what 2 to 3 candlestick setup. 2, 1, 2, trigger over 45.05, a close over first target, 46.26, second target, and full 47.26. That's it. If it triggers downside, same scenario, it's going to look like this. Entry, trigger below 43. your trigger downside. But the problem is there's not a lot of juice here. So the problem is this is your target right here. So it's a better long if you get that trigger, because this one, 43.76, target is then really, it's like, so if this is your last low, it could be 43, and then you just candle to candle. I would say this one, I could trade for this, but this is a big volume shelf. That's it. I would assume that this might be a better even long. And then if you get an inside day, which would be a 1, and then you get another 2 up, that's the better trigger over 43.78. Then you get one trigger target here, 45, or whatever this is. Here, it'd be 40 this, and then it'd be all the way back up. So that is a better setup. But this is a scenario we don't want to anticipate. You take anything now on Roblox, you're guessing. You don't want to guess. Not fun to guess. So wait for this inside day. Tomorrow. It's tomorrow. It's whatever this inside day is that breaks tomorrow. Hopefully that helps. All right, I guess I'll just take quick looks. Is there anything on AVGO? No, same thing. Directional down, 2 down, but it's a small down. Not enough juice. Service now is interesting. So maybe not enough of. So this is triggering what we said. 3 scenarios: 2 down, 1 inside. Today is what? A 2 up scenario. But I want to see it close over. And we're always looking for these inside candles, these scenario 1 candles. That's the primary candle that you're looking for to tell you where your setups are going to be. And then if this does, so here, your next targets is 894. And then you just kind of move up to the top of these wicks. And I say wicks, yes, not, this is just bodies. 894 and then 900, like week's end. And then you would really just kind of like trail it up. I would say like 920, like his max, but that could take a little bit. It could take like 3 weeks. So for now, what ideally this is sitting on it. I don't know if it's going to close over it. Looks like it's about to. So it might be a good trade. So we're going to look for something like this ultimately, with that next target really coming in here. Just really to the top of not Thursday, but Friday's range. I guess you could do it here. 895. 895 first. And then if you really get over this, see this big volume shelf, then you're really going. And I think you get up to this one. And that's at 900. So I do like this setup actually for probably like a 3 to 5 day setup. Looks like you're going to trigger. So congrats on that find. Oh, yes. So are you in the server? You got to be in the server. Setting up right now. This is setting up. This is medium to long term. So depending on what you're talking about, like in terms of your short term or long term, this is my medium term. So on a weekly scale, this is an inside week thus far, right? So directionally up. And this is what I like about the strat is like, there's no guessing here, right? Like you guys know, there's no guessing here. Directionally up, and you know exactly what the targets are. If this goes, like here's the weekly setup. So these lines I just threw up on my chart, look, they're 20, 50, 200 day, all getting really, really tight. No, Dan, I didn't, and that'll be the last one. But if this pulls back and it's really this weekly holds over 50, I will tell you, I love this BMY chart for a big squeeze over the next 6 months into 60s, into the 60s. So a lot of stuff is changing here, um, in terms of sentiment and what they have. So it's either going to trigger, look, full day open and close over 252 and change, or we're going to hold, this 50 level, and I'm going to start building a position there for a swing up into the 60s. And that's probably going to be it's going to be a March 25th, 2025, and it's going to be a $55 call. All right. Last one, and then I'm calling it. Swear. Nvidia, no. So same thing. Top of the range. It was a short. We're not going anywhere here at all. You're going right into that 50 and 20-day simple moving average. Let's see where it is. Yeah, so you're not going to be able to see them on my screen, but it's right here. This is where your 50 and 20-day simple moving average are at 123. Just so you know, that's $3 trillion market cap. So 123, still major pivot right here. You're at top of the range. What you're looking for here, and we'll just do it this way. So you got this low and this low. Let me not be subjective here. So I'm just connecting those. Can I take these longer ones? Yeah, I probably could, but you don't really like that so much. It's really in here. Yeah, those aren't going to be valid. So it's like this. I think that, this situation right around the 20 and 50-day simple moving average, it's going to get really tight. I'm just going to make these a little bit brighter for you. Right here. So that's where I think we go. We're going to fill what's called a very small, minute, low volume pocket. And I went over this with someone else on another space recently. That's going to be 116 and change. Doesn't mean that you'll instantly go long there. Quite frankly, this is going to be pretty sketchy to go long. What the better long is, because you could do this and it could just be a pop, and then it could be a quick flush like this. When I say a quick flush like this, it means like this, right? So you hit this moving average, a little pop, and then one of these days when you're opening the chart, you bounce, but then in the pre-market, you look like you're failing below, and it's a whoosh flush, right? So right now, basically what we're getting a pop up over. I think this comes in and fills. But what you don't want is you don't want this to be holding and then all of a sudden you get boom right in there. So what's cool about this level though is look at this 109. That's going to fill another fair value right over here. I think that's your best. That's your best shot. So you could look at taking a shot somewhere around 117. But quite frankly, I feel like your best shots, it's going to be at the low end of this consolidation right here. And this lines up to me perfectly. And if it's below the 20 and 50 day, look, I don't care, right? At the end of the day, these guys are probably going to be doing something like this. So do this, and they're going to be like this. And honestly, this is probably going to end up being a higher low just underneath, and it's going to do boom on that one. So let's say you tag this, and then after you tag this, you break a small high, and then you lock in a higher low. That's a long. But I'm telling you, it's just a long to 123 again. Because then you're going to go right back in, make another higher low. Then you're going to make a lower high. Then you're going to make a higher low. Then you're going to make it. You get it? You ain't going nowhere. Not until earnings, or not for a while. So, all right, boys and girls. That's a wrap for me. I love you all. It's been real. I'll catch you on the next one. Adios.